Here's another thing. Growing up, I loved going to football games in high school. I was never good enough to play the sport, but I was always good enough to go to the games, and we were voted the best cheering section in Illinois, Hersey Orange Crush, John Hersey High School in Arlington Heights, Illinois. And what's funny about that is the colors were created in the 1960s when the Cleveland Browns were good. So we literally had orange and brown as our colors in Illinois. And it kind of describes my time in high school. But I loved going to games. I would smoke before, never drink, but I would smoke before. And then I would have fun and be out until like 1 a.m. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my little cousin Nathan, he is not so little now. He's a 17-year-old man. And he's on the football team, and they stream the games on YouTube. And last week I talked about how the one announcer gave me an existential crisis, because he said that he was 6 years old in 2013, and that was the first time that team began 2-0. So I'm thinking here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm thinking like, oh, every game's going to have announcers. Well, the next game wasn't at home. It was at another high school, so they didn't have announcers. So I'm watching my little cousin play, and unfortunately, they lost 56-0. His team is good, but they lost 56-0 to a really good team. And they pulled out these starters in the second half. And I texted my cousin the next day because he saw my story of me sharing that I was watching the game on Instagram. And he goes, we got our effing ass kicked. And I said, hey, at least you guys didn't give up points in the second half. And he was like, oh, yeah, they took out all their starters. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. You guys lost bad. Sorry. I do love them, and I watch every game. But they had this annoying thing. So the rival team that was doing the home broadcast, they have the Hawks as their mascot, this high school that my cousin was playing against. And every single first down and every touchdown, over and over. And there were no announcers. So all you were hearing is first down, I'll just say it, Hoffman Estates. Touchdown, Hoffman Estates. Fourth down, Hoffman Estates defense. Over and over and over. And I went, it was reminding me of the Miami Heat whenever the announcer would get all kind of hyper and decorated 10 years ago. But I'm like, just because your name is the Hawks doesn't mean over and over again. You think this is annoying? I watched the game. My cousin's lucky that I love him. I'm just kidding. But yeah. And it's very fascinating. There's like no halftime show. What's weird about watching high school football is you forget how produced the NFL is. They have post-game shows, and they got everything going on. Everyone's hanging out. And then they got the announcers and blah, blah, blah. It's just straightforward football. Unless there's a timeout. There's no TV timeouts. There's no shots of, hey, there's Taylor Swift. Enough for her. I'll get to that later. The other thing I've noticed, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is the fact that the music that the millennials grew up with in the 2000s is now being considered classic hits. Because during the timeouts during my cousin's high school football game, the marching band came out and they did a marching band version of Crazy in Love by Beyonce. And to me, I still think that song's new because I remember hearing it for the first time on B96 about 21 years ago. And then to hear it like be played. Because like, think about it. When I was growing up in the 2000s and early 2010s, things from the 80s, that was the amount of time that is now between 2004 and 2024. So in the 2000s, a lot of music that was, you know, remade or sampled was from the 80s. And now hearing all this 2000s nostalgia, it doesn't feel like it was that long ago. If you ever want a good existential crisis, just watch high school football. I can tell you that.
Happy Hour. Happy Hour.